We've been tracking today's breaking news. An ex-Atlanta police officer who shot and killed Rayshard Brooks now charged with felony murder and 10 other counts. The news comes amid these broader calls, of course, for police reform, from activists, from people protesting in marches and on the streets, to lawmakers in D.C. We heard from one tonight. But there's also a wider conversation that just shows how big this is, well outside of people who pay close attention to these issues or to politics or news. Consider all the cultural figures that have been weighing in. Atlanta Hawks head coach Lloyd Pierce joined the protest. That was a big deal. He was on the beat earlier this week. Or Dave Chappelle rushing out, effectively, another comedy special that was also more than comedy, raw and emotional, 8:46, about the Floyd killing. And top rap artists like J. Cole or Atlanta's own Lil Baby, who've been weighing in with their perspectives and supporting the protests, addressing racism and police brutality in their work. These are the signs of course, a wider movement. Artists using their platform, their mics, their influence to push out messages, to address social justice, and to revisit, many times, things they've been saying for a long time. Hip-hop trailblazer LL Cool J, no stranger to any of this. He recently delivered a powerful Black Lives Matter freestyle that spread online. That was just in the days following George Floyd's death, before everyone knew what else was going to come. He's been returning to his roots as a top artist from hip-hop's golden era. He came of age with other social justice rappers we may remember, like Chuck D and KRS-One. Two-time Grammy Award winner, American icon, LL Cool J joins me now. Welcome to The Beat, sir.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, Ari. All good.
Great to have you debut on the show. Like many, I am a fan. I start, of course, with the serious news. We arranged you to join us before we knew what would happen this afternoon. Your reaction to the DA's announcement of a murder charge?
I think it's the right thing. I think that, we are going to have to really dig deeper into this idea of implicit bias and how that affects people's decision making. I think, this idea that people automatically are afraid. I think if you're a person who is fearful, you shouldn't be policing a community that makes you fearful, because that's not a healthy mindset to have when you're there to protect. Because the last time I checked, protecting people and being afraid doesn't seem like a good combination. I think being vigilant is one thing, but I think fear is a whole other thing. And I think that, I think that the world, we have a righteous and just cause. We have a righteous beef. The world knows that they watched that man get, murdered, and they watched it happen over the course of 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And this was the first time that it wasn't debatable. There was no debate. There was no splitting hairs. There was no, well, maybe he reached for the taser, maybe he didn't. There was no, well, maybe he kind of leaned to the left a little quickly. No, you saw what happened. So that's why. And what we've also found out from this is that the globe in general, people are inherently good. For the most part, when you look out at those protests and you look at the people on the front lines out there, they're all hues, all ethnicities, all races, all genders. Don't get me wrong. Black lives absolutely matter. But the fact that there are so many people supporting this movement just shows you that we truly do have the moral high ground. And this is something that is real to people, and the whole world is responding, I think, and for the most part, on the right side of history, other than a few, racists who are, they're going to be there, to the end anyway. So, I think it's going in the right direction. I think we're one step closer to solving the problem.
Well, it's interesting to hear you contrast that. What you're saying is wrong with the system, but what you see as the uplift, the light, perhaps, in people coming together. We mentioned at the top, and I want to play for viewers to see and hear your work on Floyd, because as with so many issues, as it spreads and builds, more people are aware of it. But that starts somewhere. And it starts, as you mentioned, with the activists and protesters, people who made this so people couldn't ignore it, as well as artists and other storytellers, right, who are using their platform. So let's listen a little bit. This was right afterward to what you posted online about George Floyd. Here we go.
Okay.
He cried for his mama as the murder unfolded. If it wasn't for them phones, Chauvin would be at home, feeling justified because of George's skin tone. I'm telling it to those with melanin, you're not alone. The new Malcolm, Martin, and Marcuses are now grown.
And you look really upset there. Walk us through what you were getting across, how you were feeling.
Well, I came from the heart. I had tossed and turned all night, didn't sleep, and just got out of the bed. I didn't wake up, but just actually got out of the bed at 7 a.m, wide awake, and was inspired and wrote that, and, in about 30 or 40 minutes, and just said it, directly, into my phone. You know what I'm saying? And it came from the heart. It comes from a place of like, look, enough is enough. Let's stop splitting hairs and utilizing these double standards to hide racism, because that's all it is. There's an old saying, power takes as ingratitude the writhing of its victims. I said power takes as ingratitude the writhing of its victims. In other words, I put my foot on your throat or on your neck, and you disrespect me when you bleed on my shoe. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I think we've been dealing with a long time. This idea that, the law is for everybody else. This idea that the rules are for everybody else. That's something that had to change. And I think that now many people have joined in, and they realize how important it is for us as society. Because you got to understand something. I wouldn't care if the Dow Jones was at 100,000 and everybody was doing amazing. When the morale of the country is as low as it is right now, that's not a good look. To have $1 zillion and be depressed. What if somebody said you can have all the money in the world, but you'll never be happy again? Yeah, some people would sacrifice for their kids and children, but think about what if it was you can have all the money in the world, but your family will never be happy again. Yeah. And that's kind of the dynamic that we're dealing with right now. We have people that are making excuses,
It's deep. And before I lose you, because I only have 90 seconds, I want to play. We did dig up the old LL talking about how you were presenting something that people around America could get behind within a society with its history of racism. Take a look at classic LL.
Okay.
For white corporate America, who right now is looking at the rapper on television or the guy with the baseball hat, the guy with the shiny gold watch who uses the slang on his records, you do not have to be afraid of me. I am merely trying to participate in capitalism and participate in this world.
Apologies, I have 30 seconds, but why was it important to you to navigate that way?
Because, at the end of the day, it goes back to the reason I'm building rockthebells.com and the reason I built that right now, a platform that everybody who loves classic hip hop can engage in. We want to participate. So now Run DMC are owners in rockthebells.com and Eric B and Fab Five Freddy and Roxanne Shante and Salt and Pepper. So this type of a platform, we want to participate. And, it's time for our voices to be heard, and we're doing it through classic hip hop now in a big way. So that's kind of the short of it. But people should definitely go to rockthebells.com and check out exactly what I'm talking about if I piqued your interest, because I think that it's really, really important for our country and important for the culture. And we have to support each other. You know what I mean?
Well, you piqued our interest, and you've been in our living rooms for decades. LL Cool J, thank you so much. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.